with those smaller number of volunteers. We just noticed everyone was really busy this weekend. So we're always interested in feedback too. So if you guys give us feedback, there will be an opportunity for that in the next few days. So other things to look at with all those volunteers, approximately 1,080 hours were volunteered. And that resulted in about, and we're using a very conservative number here, about $100 an hour. It resulted in about $108,000 of value being delivered to 12 nonprofits. So each nonprofit here got about $9,000 of charity work done for them. So. And yes, we did ask you guys to stay with us, hang out with us all day, stay up all night. We tried to feed you well as you were doing that too. So thank you all for the commitment you've made. Over the 9 years that we've been doing this, you know, if you recall, we said this is the 9th year of GiveCamp, so next year is 10. We got to think of something pretty cool to do for 10. But of the 9 years, we've been able to help 104 nonprofits. We've had about 632 volunteers, contributing about close to $1.5 million in value back to this community of Southwest Ohio, averaging about $14,000 per project. So that's what we've been able to do with our journey the past 9 years. So it could be kind of fun to cap that off with the 10 next year. And Eric showed this slide at the beginning. Red dots being volunteers, blue being the nonprofits. This is what happens, we all come together. So you can see kind of overlap where everyone came from to help us out. Help out all the blue dots there as the nonprofits. All right, without further ado, we'd really like to get in and start seeing what some of you guys did. So build a challenge. Where are you at? Come on down. Wait, where's the music? I'm trying. Yeah, come on down. Come on down. Come on down. You need to stand down unless you're embarrassed, then don't come down here. But if you're excited with what you saw. All right, you want a music, Peter?
Yep. Gonna need that to show it.
All right, there you go.
And I don't have my husband now like he did. He's amazing.
Thank you.
There is.
Yeah.
There is?
Yeah, it's really easy.
I just want to make sure we display it in the browser we tested it in, just to be safe. All right, so there wasn't too much of a before to show. Normally we like to show before and after. In this particular case, they already have the website up here, and we don't have our new content necessarily live, but I wanted to show you kind of what their existing website looks like. So we created pages basically for them to where they wanted to help streamline the manual process of collecting registrations for not only registrants, as they call them, but also potentially future for things like judges and volunteers. So we set up a kind of a platform for them to start collecting this information. This weekend we did registrants can come in and view events that are coming up. They can apply for those events to be part of it. Judges can come in on the day of the event and they can put in their passcode, and then they can go into each registrant's form and judge them at the event while they're there on the spot. And it'll store all this stuff digitally now for them in the Joomla database so that they can eventually, hopefully, make it faster for them to do judging and stuff without having to sit behind the scenes and scramble through papers to try to judge all the students that are at these events. So we started with creating them a page here that will basically display, this will eventually replace their list of events that's up here once they go live. So it will basically list their events that they have coming up, and they can go into an event, and people can register as an individual or part of a team. So in case you have a family of kids that all want to register to do one project together, you can do that. Or they can come in and register just themselves. So we're going to go in and put in our registration. And they can choose to be part of a team here as well if the team already exists. Otherwise, they can just go ahead and register as themselves. And now they're registered for the event. It's now very easy for people to come in and do this. Before it was Google Forms and showing up on the day of the event with Excel spreadsheets and printouts of who actually registered for events. On the day of the event, judges can come in and, I don't think we have it up here, but they were basically given a little card to say, here's, some information about what you're judging. Now they will be given an ID, and they can come in and they can type in their ID, and the password will tell the system what event they're coming in to judge for. In this case, we just made a simple one. And when they log in, it'll give them a list of people who are part of that event that they're coming in to judge for. In this case, our guy that we just registered is here. And they can come in and they can walk around in the event, look at all of these projects that are going on, and they can fill out the form. These are different for every event, so she got trained on how to create forms and things like that and get them all set up. And then they'll do all their judging. They'll do all their stuff, and then they will submit their forms, and it will basically tally all that for them in the database. So worked a little bit on getting some things where we could sort of view that data after the event is over, that they can export it now that it's storing it in the database, and hopefully that'll make their process a lot easier. So I want to thank, obviously, Tika and the nonprofit for helping us understand their stuff and helping us test it today and go through it, and obviously my awesome team of 2 who are still here. So thank you guys very much.
Yeah.
Well done. Nice touch wearing the producer today, man.
Boiler out?
All right. Camp Joy. We did test this ahead of time. There's just 2 HDMI cords up here, and of course we didn't notice that when we were testing it earlier. Man, us tech people, I'm telling you. Switch back to the other one. I thought it was the first one. All right, count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you're off up here too. Windows 8. Is this Windows 10? No.
I'm assuming it sells them to some people.
Yeah.
All right, do you have VGA Alex?
I haven't got
Yeah, it was the DVD player. This is what we get for comparing. I'm telling you right now.
Just put it back on the regular.
All right. Chrome? Yeah. So much. Compared.
All right.
There you go.
Just like we find it.
All right, so I would show you before, but so Camp Joy came to us with what they have is a bidding application for you guys. Can, oh, he's already here. Basically a price tracking tool for bids for school groups and corporate groups and other things that want to come use their facilities. And they provide all sorts of different things. They provide meals, they've got services, they've got places you can rent out, things like that. And they want to keep track of how much they can bring in and all that kind of stuff for like a weekend or even half days, things like that. What they have currently is they've got a commercial tool which kind of does what they need. The problem is it's really expensive for them. So they came to GiveCamp with the hope that they could come up with a solution which didn't cost them any money. So what we got is had a couple developers. This is written in .NET full framework. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay, because I don't do .NET, so I don't know all the terminology. So I had two guys. I had Brian back here and Joe, who had to leave a couple hours ago. They cranked out this web application, and it's going to be pretty much a feature-for-feature match with what these guys are paying. How much a month or a year?
Around
$8,000 a year, just to keep track of some stuff you could loosely just keep track of in the spreadsheet. So basically, we were basically in the impression we were pretty much getting close to being done last night, and we are still there at that state. So that last 10% has been rather complicated. But what we can show is some of the stuff that is up and running, and we're kind of at a point where the plus side is these guys don't even need the app until December. So Brian and Joe and I are going to work on it between then and get it all finished up. But we do have a bit of it up and running, so they've got customer types. You can add new customer types. They want to keep track of things like general markup for all their financial stuff. So there's product and service types. So again, they do meals, they do facility rentals, they do all sorts of other stuff. So they've got records in there for that. There's their customer list. We've got filtering billing, and I can't spell further. So easy lookups for a lot of their customers because they have a lot. So once we're completely done, they'll have a pretty much feature match for what they're paying $8,000, $9,000 a year, whatever it was, for free. This is hosted on Everleap. So for me personally, thanks to Brian and Joe, the developers, thanks to Timothy and Mike from the GiveCamp staff for some extra eyeballs and some help. And thanks for Mike here, who was very patient with us, was here the entire time that we were here, and spent most of the time looking at us developer types, and but was very polite about it. So
I just want to say thank you. This is my first GiveCamp, and it's been a great experience. And just thanks for everybody for putting this together, and thanks for continuing to help us even after this weekend's over.
Glad to do it. Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have consider the board. Michael.
sorry about this. We got ours just before they did. Okay, so ours. That's it. Yeah, you're right. So consider contact customers. You. Kevin always watches out for me. So consider the poor.
mission to help alleviate poverty in Cincinnati, which is has one of the worst in the nation. So we built a website for them to sort of market what they can do, what they want to do, their mission. And of course, we still have some things that need to be worked out, but like this video, the first thing you see, we want a better video, so we're going to work on that. But the homepage will take you into their why, who they are, what their mission is, their vision, this nice little drill down metaphor of start real high level, who they are, and then what kind of impact they plan to have in the community, what their theory of change is, outcomes, challenges that they see. And one of the challenges you click on here is it sort of shows Cincinnati compared to the rest of the United States. And they're going to use this for a lot of talking points, I assume, right? Sure. Take this, have people be interested in what they're doing, outline outcomes that they're searching for and that they can help groups find and help in their alleviation of poverty, ways that they affect change, and finally, how to get involved. Okay, and this isn't looking like we want it yet, but we can work on this. But basically, they have some public opportunities that are where they should give public workshops and public events like dinners and movie nights and things like that to help raise awareness and raise funds. So, or you can volunteer for those kind of events. You can actually go to those attend those events. In addition, they provide private, non-public training opportunities, workshops for corporations, churches, civic groups. They'll come in and help people learn about poverty, and then, of course, donate. We also used a volunteer, an event capability for them, so across the top show the different events that are happening, and if you're interested in attending one of the events, you find some more detail about it, you can actually register for it, and that will be captured and shown to them. And then finally, gave an about us, who they are, who the main people are behind this, some bios on them, and then finally what they do as a team. So they didn't have anything before, and so this is now some of their entrance into the modern world and hoping to interest people in their mission. Anything you want to say? David was here all weekend, bless his soul, and Sherman would have been, but he had flew in from Denver yesterday and drove right here from the airport. So, anything you want to say?
Just
you got 50 seconds.
It's a privilege to be able to have this opportunity, especially transitioning from a for-profit to add a non-profit. And we need this kind of effort before we can raise funds. We typically get access to this kind of expertise to do this kind of vehicle that will assist us going forward with mission and vision, and the need to go to find donors and have a presentation to people operating this. So thank you so much. This is wonderful.
All right, next up, heartfelt tidbits. Will was the lead, but I think we have someone else standing in for the presentation today. All right. Chrome? We're not plugging. Yeah, Chrome. All right, I'm not plugging music. There you go.
All right, so we had a fairly, I guess, simple problem to solve. Cheryl had a website where volunteers could sign up. It's on Squarespace. The volunteers would get dumped into a Google Sheets database, and then she would have to manually copy them out of that database into her MailChimp volunteer base. This was a horrible process that would take hours and hours and hours. So we decided we would automate it for her. So 5 developers, and however many hours we've been here later, I would like to present you with one button.
And it is pink.
And it's pink.
And it's the right shade of pink.
We did match your brand. Ladies and gentlemen, this one button, when you click it, does exactly what I just said it would do. So there you go. We have automated a horrifically manual process. Do you want to say a few words?
You should pull up the website then.
All right,
I
all
think
right.
this, I mean, they make it sound simple, but it really wasn't. It was, but it wasn't.
Yeah, volunteer. All right. Okay. So this is the original, yeah.
So if you're signing in to volunteer, you would go through this site and fill out everything. As you can see, there are a lot of, we run a lot of different programs in Heartfelt Tidbits, and there are a lot of different opportunities for volunteers. And even, believe it or not, to create this form, we even rolled things up for just the website portion of it. But this is the most finite we could get without overwhelming people with 25 pages. But we are a 100% volunteer-based organization, including myself as the executive director. So for us, this is key. I mean, we have 110 active volunteers serving local refugees and immigrants on a weekly basis. And prior to this, I was telling them, my volunteers would complain that how I would communicate with them was through social media, or I would just send out a Facebook plea and say, okay, we have an emergency situation, I need a driver for tomorrow morning. And a lot of folks said, you know, I don't like to be on Facebook. I don't like the way that you're communicating with me and saying that, you know, you need help, but we don't know you need help because we're not logging on to our social media sites. So with this and MailChimp, I'll be able to communicate. So if somebody is signed up to be a driver or a transportation provider for one of our programs, now I can just link to that group and send them a specific request saying, hey, I need a driver for Monday. And it's not going to go to everyone who signed up for citizenship training or youth support, job readiness. It will go to people who are specifically signed up for driving. So it's really making a huge difference. And it forced me to spend the whole weekend cleaning up my list of volunteers. And going through each one, so now I know my 300 volunteers intimately. So thank you. And what a great team. Thank you very much.
I have to say, I think that's the first time we've delivered a button. But well done. It was a pretty pink button.
Yes. And Will didn't think it would be pink.
All right. Next up, we have Sandy with Home is the Foundation.
I have to give it a little bit of love to wake it up. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, I worked with Home is the Foundation, and they wanted a new website as well as some integration with a CRM that they're using. This was their existing website. They were not proud of it at all. You can see as you hover over some of these buttons, there's text that overhangs, it's very outdated. When you come to their About Us page, not the About Us, it's the who we are. They didn't even have credentials to get in here and update the people that are actively working there.
Like, they could do nothing. They didn't even publicize this website anymore, right, Clayton? They weren't using it at all. They were more embarrassed of it than anything. So, we worked on this weekend. This is their new website. Much cleaner, much prettier, something that they're not embarrassed to show off. It has all the pertinent information on it that they need to show what they're doing. They have credentials to get in here so they can update it. They have this fabulous donate button that, even though this form isn't very beautiful, this actually links right into Neon CRM, so when somebody comes in and donates, all of this information is saved in their CRM so that they can then use that information later on any way they wish. Whereas before they were just using PayPal to manage their donations. But I think in the end, it worked out very well for them. We did have a little bit of trouble. We haven't quite, with the credentials, so we haven't pushed it actually live to their domain name yet, but we'll do that in a week or two. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, thank you, everybody. It was awesome, really cool experience. Me and my coworker that were here were able to take what we learned and push it forward and kind of keep our website registration stuff up to date. So we're super stoked about that. I'm really excited for our board meeting coming up to show our board of directors what's been done. I think they'll be proud of this whole opportunity, so it's awesome.
All right, well done. All right, next up we have Miami Valley Community Action Partnership. Julian's the lead on this one.
So we were redoing a website for them, and this is what they had. This is what they had, and one of the main things that was a problem for them was it wasn't responsive. So you know, it didn't really handle mobile very well. Like the homepage isn't too bad, but once you got into some of the other things, it kind of fell apart. So we made it more responsive. We also moved it over to Whitetail. Let me pull up what we built. We haven't actually pushed out to production. We got a lot of content to still move over. We got some tweaks to make, so I'm going to continue working with them on some of those. So we created this slider panel for them to kind of highlight things. This was something they saw on another website that they really liked. You know, made the search pretty prominent, gave them dynamic menus. These things all work responsively now, so this is really kind of shrinks, but then when they go down, they, you know, stack. So we've kind of made it cover all the major breakpoints for devices like tablets, phones, etc. We created some pretty cool little custom content types for them, so they could do different things. We've got these like success stories that they can embed video and do a lot of different things on it. So, and just to kind of give you an idea of what Whitetail allowed us to do, let me log into the back end and show you just a little bit how this comes together and works. So this is the Whitetail CMS, and basically this allows developers to customize content types really easily. So for instance, on our homepage, you know, we've got this ability here to add slides, you know, remove slides from the homepage, you know, put in the Unicode codes for the icons and create those little sort of like blurbs about their services. And these can, you know, we can insert other ones in between. So we could do all of this. So it exposes a lot of functionality. So instead of just like the page post type or,
you know, having to do the sort of custom post type that all uses the same sort of framework in WordPress, we could get more specific. So we also have the idea of snippets. So the orbits work on the idea of a snippet, which allows us to just kind of pick, you know, a title, a body, you know, an optional URL, and then pick an image, and then that all uses a custom template to create the little slide thing. And then in our settings, we can manage menus. We can create different site level settings. So we created ones for like their Facebook and Twitter links, so they can move those around. They've got a nice image manager. And the menus all work off of the idea of these are all sort of nested, so they just sort of build these like child pages and sort of build the structure of their site right in the interface. So that lets us do all of that. And then also in settings, Whitetail gives us a lot of user permissions, so we can actually get into like people who can actually publish versus people who can just edit content. So they can actually, like, people who don't have the publish permission, basically if they're not a moderator, they can only submit content for moderation, and then someone else has to come along and like review it and publish it to make it live on the site. So it gives them a little more control too, so that they can actually, they manage so many different programs, they can break it up across their program directors and let different people actually manage the site. So that's what we built.
Yeah, it's got a lot of very intuitive, sort of parts to it. So I was able to already create the child pages and embed videos and links, and so yeah, it's pretty simple to use, and it'll be interested to keep loading in content and see what we can do. And just thanks to everyone that was here and gave of their time. It's amazing. It's amazing to see the other nonprofits and other people. I got some info on Google Analytics and did clean up the existing page, at least for now, a couple things that weren't on the grab library. So yeah, so I appreciate that.
Nice. All right, next up, we have Mommy Has Breast Cancer, James Roberts. Over here.
If you don't mind.
Let's see. Last computer didn't like it too much. Try this one. Maybe, maybe not. We're gonna try something crazy here. There you go. So it's the dock button you hit to do that one, just for everyone.
Just in time for us to forget till next time.
Yes.
Here we go. Yeah, exactly. So, mommyhasbreastcancer.org, they needed an administrative portal. They already have a registration site. It registers people that need help and asks for certain types of help and dumps it in a database, and that's it. And that full stop. What we did is we took it from there and gave them a portal where they could basically they can administer, that they can see who needs help. They can categorize them as they're new, they need certain pieces of information like physician certification, they're active. So let me stop talking. Here's the website. It is it's secure, so you gotta log in. Let me do that. Then you can see the list of people. So here, this is the day, and this is actually really interesting, but apparently they get a lot of spam. So payday loans, Russian this or that or the other. Anyway, we put on their registration page, we put a caption, so that should cut this stuff out. What's that? Yeah, that was step one, right? Step two is give them a place to visualize this data. So that's what we have here. We have a list of people requesting help. Then we can active people, it's mainly just me as a test. But when they come in, we'll need to view them individually. They actually ask for a lot of information because of the services they offer, and in order for them to facilitate, they need to know certain things. So we got it here, we are displaying it, allowing them to change it, allowing them to categorize someone, so whenever they leave the program, they can mark them and they'll get out of the list. And this should, and then let's see, and also, as they administer things, as they give help, they can add updates. So we sent books, we ordered childcare, send food, things like that. They can record what they did so that they know, and they don't do it twice, or they don't forget. So that's, and some basic comments as well. They can just jot down notes for somebody else to subsequently come and see. Oh, and they also have, their vendor database currently is Jocelyn's brain. So they wanted to have a place to record that, so we also gave them a place to record their vendor information. And that's about it. Right now, as you see, it's hosted in Everleaf, and we'll get their domain pointed at it, and everything will be good. I think that's it.
Well done. All right, next up, we have Nevertheless. Michelle, come on down. Chrome work for you? All right. I can pull Mosaic up. Any of us, what's that? Remember that? Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so our goal was to make this website more updated, fresh, new logo, add like the ability to register online, which we didn't have before, it was paper form, the ability to give feedback about programs, which they weren't able to do before. So we had a great team of 4, we had 3 developers. Oh, okay. Really? Okay, oh, that is a lot better. And also one of our goals was to make the site easy to navigate, because we have a lot of different people coming in to the site. We also have a place now for volunteers to sign up and help. So we had a great team, like I was saying, a team of 3 developers, and we had a designer, so they have been great, and they are the technical experts, so that's why I'm turning over to them to show off what they have done.
Just pick me up, yeah, I think from this one. Yeah, so sorry, my brain's running off of the donut I had at 9 a.m., so I might turn off here in a minute. So yeah, we had a GoDaddy site. It was hadn't been updated, I think you said, in 3 years. Luckily, Doris and the Nevertheless team, they're just saints. They had the best content doc I've ever seen, better than some of the docs that I get from at my place of employment. So we knew exactly what content they wanted, and we were able to just kind of move them over to a more stable system. We chose WordPress because we didn't want to, there's some concern about being able to maintain it and update it. We don't want to turn Nevertheless into a dev shop. We just want them to be able to get the information out that they want to be able to get out. So turn them over to WordPress. We also hook them up to analytics. The theme is now responsive. A lot of the people coming to the site are younger girls, and so most of their audience is using mobile device anyways, and so that wasn't something that they could actually see very well with GoDaddy. We did switch over to Everleaf, so that saved them some money, but we also got them backups and everything, so it's going to be backed up every week just in case something goes wrong, because it's likely to happen. And So yeah, we ran through a quick little brand sprint too, which is a good exercise, and luckily Michelle found and stole a designer from another team. I don't see him, but he came in and So he actually completely redid the Nevertheless logo for the website, and so got that up there. It's amazing. All the partners agreed, and so we're good to go there. Lots of new imagery, and another thing that was important was there are a lot of forms that have to be filled out as part of the registration process for these various programs. And so we digitized all the forms. It runs through a plugin called Ninja Forms. Still working on the design a little bit, but runs through a plugin called Ninja Forms where you can just go now and apply. That information gets emailed out to Doris and her team, and it also gets stored in the database as well. And so now that information exists there, and it's much, much easier for people to fill out and actually apply. Got some other little stuff like caching and stuff just to make Everleap just a touch faster. Well, really WordPress, just a touch faster. And I think that's pretty much all of it. Lots of stuff that we got accomplished, and still more to do. We're going to kind of work through the training videos and some additional training, but that's it.
Thank you.
All right, well done, well done. Next up, the Testicular Cancer Society. Sam is the leader. HDMI. Did someone leave this adapter up here? James? Oh, that's good. You want to try that? We're going to try that. We'll get back to you later. How's that? Maybe. Where's the different button? There we go. How about that?
Okay, so about 4 years ago, we introduced you to the app Ball Checker for primarily English speakers. This year, we do have the newer version in Spanish, because there's a very growing population.
Yeah, the incident rate in the Spanish population is growing 3 times out of the Caucasian population at this point. So by 2026, it's actually going to most likely take over. So we wanted to be able to get ahead of the curve and create more awareness of the new app.
So yeah, we localized the entire app, gave it a little bit of a makeover, and we still have the best part.
Los autoexámenes se realizan mejor durante o después de una ducha o baño caliente, cuando el escroto está relajado. Compruebe si hay hinchazón en la piel escrotal.
That's the hands-free version.
And you can also now share in Spanish. We showed various jokes in Spanish. And they're very poorly translated jokes. So that's what we did. Thanks to Brandon and Brian and Alex Argo, who had to be with the Cub Scouts today.
With this being our second time here, I mean, we're still as excited as we were the last time. Being able to reach out to young guys to raise awareness is so key. Being able to add the Spanish language is so important. Incredibly greatly run camp. I mean, we ran into 2 small issues. One, I had to convince the developers that using the camera probably wasn't appropriate for this app. And then the second, as we had in the stand-up yesterday with the nonprofits, is it was obvious one person in our group did not wear deodorant yesterday. Of course, that was me. So to help you guys out for year 10, I actually, while we're sitting here, made a little personal donation to you guys. It's not a whole bunch, but it came from me in appreciation personally. And at least one communal thing, a speed stick, will be there for the 10th anniversary. Thank you.
Muy bien, excelente.
I have no idea what that means.
See? Very nice. Next up, Woven Oak with Chris, otherwise known as CSD.
Yes,
Yes.
me. Unfortunately, my team already had to leave, so
Chrome work for you?
let's go ahead and see if we can plug this in my
All right, that's what I was waiting on.
Is it this one?
Well, I don't, try that one first. We'll go that one. Yeah, it should be, but it's kind of fun to pretend we don't know anymore. There we go.
Oh, right.
Turn that one on.
Hello?
Okay.
So let me show you our site here. But actually, I've got some pre-pictures if I can find them really quick. Drive go. Right at it. Right there. There it is. Okay, so this is kind of what their site looked like before we started this whole thing. Let's see if I can. Oh, wrong way. It looked better than that, actually. Not a whole lot. Oh well.
There's a
Didn't work out as well as I thought.
retry button at the bottom.
Second?
There's a retry button at the bottom.
Oh, okay. So this was their original site. They had about 6 pages. And I felt like I really wanted to give you the before and after because we don't have an old site to take you to. And so this is the new site. This image was created by John Rizzo, our favorite designer. And he did a lot of the design on the site, of course. We actually have a few more pages, but a few fewer buttons at the top there, menu items. So it's a little bit nicer than it did before. These graphics created by John Rizzo, of course. Meet the team, we actually have a kind of a pop-up going on for that. And let me go to the Get Involved page. We now have a tabbed thing so that you can get a lot of different things all on one page for them. Oh, and you know, these will dial the phone number and everything for you. Woohoo! In fact, let me see if I can get this out of full size mode. This is technically my phone. I can't remember how to do it from this point. That's not what I want to do. Anyway, so as you can see, a lot of improvement to the original site. We did manage to keep it on the original Weebly platform, which that was our biggest challenge, of course, because Weebly does not provide all of the different cool things you can do in WordPress, but I think that luckily our scope was not so large that that didn't become a real big issue for us. So I want to definitely thank the Woven Oak team, Drug-Free Norwood, ASAP Norwood team for having realistic expectations of what can be done in a weekend, you know, with limited technology and teams that are meeting each other oftentimes for the first time. So yeah, we did a lot. We basically got every single thing that was on our checklist done. We even managed to add a few things to the checklist that weren't there to begin with, and we got it all done by the end of the weekend. And our nonprofit already is familiar with this interface, so we didn't have to do a whole lot of training on that. I think we did show them a few things that they didn't already know, and so yeah, all this went really well, and I do again want to give special thanks to, they're not here, but Timothy Stefanski, who was our lead developer on this. He did an awesome job. He did so much work on this. Of course, John Rizzo for creating the design, and also she's new here this year, but Sasha Dovenbarger really helped me with a lot of the project management and getting this set up ahead of time. So I really appreciated all the help that they gave. And yeah, thank you very much.
Chris, click the facts at that was the other cool thing, the facts.
Oh, facts. Oh, yeah. This was added.
It's really cool. So I love that it's visually interesting, and it also shows what we want to see. We want to see things going down. We were talking about some of the stats we've got. You know, if we're saying that parental disapproval is going up, sometimes that can be confusing to people to look at. Like, we're saying we want parental disapproval to go up, but we chose facts where we're showing down because we're talking about prevention, and we want to. People are used to seeing things go down. So, and then if you scroll a little bit, you can see these "Did you know" facts at the bottom, which is really helpful to have quick ideas around prevention, easily digestible. So our hope with this website was to be an educational resource as well as a resource to learn about our own organization. So I think the clean design, the eye-catching icons help spread the message that everyone has a role to play in prevention. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
I got to use my new toy in public.
Yeah. Is that a Windows phone you have plugged in there? Ooh, chuckle at that a little bit. Are you that tired? Thank you. Thank you. All right. Next up, I believe the organization formerly known as Yellow Spring Senior Center, changing their name to AAA Yellowstone, or Yellow Spring Senior Citizen Center, right? Inside joke. You had to be at the stand-up to get that one, I guess. Team lead was Mark, but we have alternate representation, I believe, and Ken. Growing good for you?
Yep.
All right.
Good. Well, we need the screen, yeah.
I suppose we show what you're doing. There we go.
All right, so let's look at the original site. If I can spell citizen. How do you spell citizens? Center. Org, right? All right, there's the original site. Okay, enough about that. Let's talk about
It
this.
has been used for years, so.
Here, is it senior or senior?
Twice.
Yep. All right, so this is the new site. Let me bring it down a little bit so we can see stuff. So we've got a WordPress theme. Found a nice free WordPress theme with a nice slider on it. So we've got a slider that will link to other pages. We've got some very clean and simple menu system up here. We can look at it's hooked up to their Google Calendar. They have a form that they can request a ride somewhere. That's one of the big things that they have is a lot of their members need rides to the doctor or someplace. So this is one way that they can do that. And then we have just everything that they offer is on the pages, and they can go and find out the information. They're like Robert said, they haven't used the site for a long time. They want people to use the site to find out more about what they offer. So Robert was great to work with. He's absolutely fearless about getting in and changing stuff. So we've been training him to be a WordPress developer, so he can create pages. He can fix some of it. How to back up the site, how to set up HTTPS. I mean, it's been really good. So I want to thank Ragav and Ellen
And Alicia is up there. She's appreciate the Miami students coming out and helping out. And Jenny Chan is a designer, and she helped us with a lot of the design and some of the image stuff. So and Marco. Yeah, well, the coffee ran out, so he left. No, he had an appointment with his parents, so he couldn't stay. But anyway, it was really good working with Robert, and it was really I think we delivered him a nice, clean site.
It is a clean site. I want to thank the weatherman here, Ken, inside joke.
Yes.
But you know, I'd given up on programming or any going behind under the hood years ago with some iteration of Linux. I thought, I'm getting too old for this. Maybe leave it to my sons. But the revitalization of interest and working with this program, letting me go in and play with the behind the scenes, it's just been a whole lot of fun. You got a great organization going on here. I'm so glad we were chosen to be part of it. It's been a phenomenal experience. Thank you all.
Well, thank you all very much. It was nice to see all those wonderful projects, all the hard work that was put into that, not just from the volunteers, but I know nonprofits, this is taxing with you as well. So thank you all for hanging in there. It's easy to build software. It's hard to build software without direction. So having that direction there really helps us out. And by easy, I'm talking as an engineer, I guess. But anyway, just a final review, a few final things to cover here, and we're going to let you guys go. We can't do this, 1, without volunteers, 2, without nonprofits to help us, give us the work to do so we can help you out. But 3, you know, all that money, over $1.5 million of value we brought to this area of the state over the past 9 years is done through everyone putting their work in there, but it's also done we got to feed people, we got to pay for space. There's a lot of expense that goes into this, but I tell you, the return on the investment is many, many times over, and we wouldn't be able to do that without the sponsors. Engaged partners, Reynolds & Reynolds, Meritas, Centric, Booz Allen Hamilton, Pinnacle Solutions Group, Burke Incorporated, Code Magazine, Everly, Marcella's Donuts and Bakery, ask me about that story sometime if you want, better than Holton's, Raymond's Pizza, Subway, and City Barbecue. Whether they've given us some sort of monetary donation or food donation, magazine subscriptions, we want to thank them. We really appreciate the help that they give us to put this event on. A big special thank you, yes. A big special thank you to Miami University, specifically the Voice of America Learning Center here. This facility is fantastic for doing what we do, and they are so gracious to work with us, give us a discount, help us out to put this program on every year. So if you see anyone, you ever see a staff here, you're here for whatever reason, please, please, please say something to them and thank them for letting us have this space and basically camp here all weekend long. Pay It Forward Cincinnati is our fiscal sponsor. They're the ones that help give us our 501(c) status. They help us out with that. Without that, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. We'd be able to manage all of our funds and then receive those sponsorships and then pay them back out as we need to. So we want to thank them a lot too. So before we get to this next year, I also want to thank the team that puts this together. They're all the ones wearing the blue shirts. I know Angie, and she had a few helpers doing the food. Eric, all the work he's done to keep us in line. I tell you, nothing we had done without Eric and the project management expertise he has. All those developers run around doing crazy things, and Eric keeps us in line all the time. Mike doing website, Kevin, Matt back there as well. So I want to thank everyone for all that they've done to put into this. But next year is our 10th year, and we need help. So us organizers, we all have jobs too, just like everyone here, and we need help putting this on. So if you're interested in helping us throughout the year, please let us know. But definitely we need volunteers. So we'll be sending out more communication about that in the future. I heard somebody say they got back into Linux, right? So if you want to volunteer next year and help us code, we could use it. I mean, bash skills are always needed, right? So anything you can do to help us keep this event going, we appreciate it. So thank you all very much. Here's our contact information. Yes, here's our contact information. Follow us on Twitter. I believe we have Instagram, it's not up here yet, so you can search for us on Instagram, Facebook as well, hashtag everything SWOCGC. Thank you all very much.